Very cool. Well, hello, my name is Kenneth Castillo. It's nice to see you guys. And I have dealt personally with people who have been scammed. That sucks. So I've gone down this rabbit hole personally, right? Out of a personal vendetta, right? Because there's bad guys that try to trick us, try to influence us, try to get us to make decisions that are against our benefit, right? And I've seen the fallout of that. I've seen good people hurt, right? So this presentation comes from me wanting to learn more, wanting to know what it is that the bad guys are saying, doing, what is it that they're implementing, right? That just gets people to click or gets people to send them money or whatever it is, right? So that's what I'm actually here talking about today. This is me just kind of sharing my personal knowledge so far about what I've found, right? So I hope you guys are able to take something away from this, share it with your own people, and just kind of get us better at stopping that kind of thing, stopping scams, right? So my name is Kenneth Castillo. I'm a security analyst for Recon InfoSec. I spend my days doing case triage and detection engineering. That means that I spend my days looking for bad guys and dealing with that, right? And a lot of the times, right, I won't give a hard number because I don't have a hard number, but a lot of the times it is a person that clicked the wrong thing, right? It's not a cool 0 day. It's not, dude in hat, a hoodie, cool code in the matrix, and they're like, oh, I'm in the mainframe. Like, no, it's a person named, I don't know, Malcolm, and they were like, oh, I got this cool email, I better click on it, right? And then boom, compromise. And then that's my day. Now I got to work on that, right? So I have about 8 years in IT and administration. I was a director of IT at a nonprofit before I decided to pivot over to cybersecurity. And I just try to help out with RGV Cyber. I think this community is super cool. You guys are awesome. All the work that you guys put into this, it's absolutely great. And they helped me get into cybersecurity, right? So if it wasn't for RGV Cyber, I wouldn't even be at Recon InfoSec, right? And I say that with honesty, right? So when you guys can, give some love to the Foleys because they're super, super cool. I love them. In not a weird way. It's not weird. I'm just gonna keep going. All right, fine. Okay, I'm gonna tell a story because you guys have to listen to me. I worked at this nonprofit, and it was a radio, right? And this nonprofit had missionaries part of its mission. And so I'm working late one night doing some crazy project, and this older lady, I'm gonna call her Sue, she comes down the hallway, right? When I say Sue, I just want you to think about this. It's this old lady, she's frail, right? She's a missionary, whatever that means to you, right? But she comes down the hallway, knocks on the door, answer it. She says, Ken, I think I just gave someone my money. And again, I was like in the deep zone of working on a project. And so when she said that to me, I clicked, right? And I actually looked at her, like I actually focused on her because it wasn't just, oh, my computer is being weird anymore. And she's crying. She's scared. She's afraid. What did I just do, right? So the rest of the night, I worked with her just trying to make sure she felt safe again because she had been scammed, right? So what happened was she got a phone call from her bank, quote unquote, and this bank told her, hey, we see that you have this bank account of this and that at this particular bank, and we think that your bank has been compromised. So we're gonna need you to move your money to a better location. And she has been scammed before. This phone call, the person on the phone call had her banking information, right? And so that was enough for her. She was afraid already. It was urgent. They seemed to be from her bank and they knew some of her details. So she was like, okay. So she starts giving, some information and starts sharing. And as the phone call goes on and they ask more and more personal questions, she got suspicious. Finally, she hung up, and that's when she came to me. But at that point, she had already shared a lot, right? There's no hoodies. Well, maybe they were wearing a hoodie. I don't know what the bad guy was doing, right? But not an exploit, not a 0-day, not, you know, NPM supply chain attack, right? It was a phone call. Social engineering. They knew what to say in the right cadence, in the right way. Boom, hacked. Money's gone. That was it, right? And so that was the rest of my time just trying to help her, again, recover what she can, stop the transaction if she's able to, not call the FBI, but submit to the fraud hotline, right? So that's where all of this stems from, is what can we do about it, right? If the big issue isn't just a computer, right? If the big issue is actually me, what can I do about that, right? So that's what this presentation is. That's what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about decision heuristics. We're going to be talking about these shortcuts that people have. We're going to be talking about how people push and pull on those heuristics. What are the different buttons that people can push to get us to do those things? We're going to talk about how actually we kind of already experience a lot of those levers in real life. We'll talk about those indicators and IOC of influence. So what are some of the flags that maybe you're being influenced? We'll talk about how we can start verifying, and then finally just end with just an affirmation, like, it's okay. We can get better at this. We can get stronger. So the mind runs on shortcuts. We have heuristics. A heuristic is just a shortcut to make a snap decision. So today, when you put on your shoes, did you think real hard about which lace goes over which? Right? No, you didn't. You did the thing, you put on your shoes, you're done. When you woke up today and you ate breakfast, did you think really hard, like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna get a notepad, paper, and figure out what I'm eating for breakfast today? Yes, you're giving me thumbs up. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Miss, please relax. It's okay. No, right? We have these shortcuts that we use to make decisions now, because we have decisions all the time. It's difficult, right, to spend a bunch of energy all the time on every single decision. So we're not going to do that. So we're going to use a heuristic. It's just a shortcut to make a decision right now, because I need to save my energy on the bigger, more important decisions. And there's a couple of gentlemen, Daniel Kahneman and Emma Tversky. They come up with this kind of concept called fast brain and slow brain, right? System 1, system 2. And there can be, it can be a little bit of an oversimplification, but it pulls a lot of concepts through, right? You have a fast brain. This is what Kahneman says. You have a fast brain that is really, really good at spending no energy. It's effortless. And you use that brain to just make a decision immediately, right? Do I want a hamburger or do I want a sandwich? Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Sometimes it's hard. Well, hamburgers and sandwiches are the same. Never mind. That fast brain, effortless. We use it all the time. Slow brain is effortful. That's the, let me sit down with a notepad, let me figure this out, right? Let me plan this. What is it that I need to know? What's the context that I need, right? Takes a lot more energy. So when we are in fast brain is usually when we get tripped up, right? The attacker loves us in fast brain, right? If we can stay in fast brain for the entire attack, the attacker, the threat actor, is completely fine with that. It's the second that we slow down and start thinking logically through whatever it is that we're being presented with that we actually become dangerous to the attacker, that we can foil the attacker's plan. Just stop. Right? That's our suspicion. That's our red flags are being raised, right? So fast brain, slow brain. That's what we're kind of working with here. So these shortcuts keep us safe, right? A lot of these shortcuts are the things that actually keep us safe. They're usually very, very accurate. These are the gut instincts that we talk about when we have, a job interview and we have a guy with 15 years of experience versus one guy with 1 year of experience, right? Maybe they both know a lot of information, but a lot of people are going to like the guy with 15 years experience because he's developed that gut instinct, that experience. He has the ability to make a decision accurately, quickly, and get the job done. It's when attackers use those same shortcuts that we get trapped. Okay, so let's say I come to you and I say, hey, you know what's really good for you? Calcium carbonate. You gotta rub it in your hair. It's good for your scalp, and you're gonna grow tons and tons of hair. You're like, okay, cool, Kenneth. I don't know why you're really telling me that. That doesn't make any sense. Would you rub calcium carbonate in your hair if I told you to do so? Thank you. Anybody else? One guy. Sweet. I'm actually kind of getting there myself. I'm willing to try anything at this point, right? No. Why? Because who the heck am I, right? I'm not anybody. But if I showed up and I was in a lab coat and I had a team of researchers behind me and I was like, hello, I'm Kenneth Castillo. I have a PhD in scalpology, hairology, I'm a hair doctor. I don't know if that's a thing. I presented credentials. I have a team behind me. I look the part. You might actually believe me. Why? Did you do a bunch of research? Did you look into my curriculum vitae? Did you check out studies that I've done? Did you look at the bachelor's or master's or PhD that I have? No. But I look the part. I have people behind me. I seem to have credentials. So you're going to take a shortcut. You're going to say, okay, this guy looks the part, has a bunch of people behind him, and is using a bunch of big fancy words. I'm going to trust him. Even though you didn't actually do any work into inspecting who I am and digging into where I've come from, you're going to use these shortcuts to say, okay, I'm going to listen to this guy. That's a heuristic, right? That's that shortcut. It's just making those decisions quickly to say, okay, I'm going to stay for a little bit longer and listen to what's happening. Attackers use that. Attackers abuse that so that you can listen to them, so that you can comply with what they say, so that you can trust them without becoming suspicious of them. That's the trick. That's the thing. Okay? So the different levers, the different ways that we can get pushed and pulled are some of these. These come from, oh my gosh, can I get rid of them? I just realized that this thing was in the middle of the entire time. Does that break anything? Okay, good. Brilliant. Sorry about that. So these are the different buttons that can be used against us, right? There's authority, there's liking, right? Whether or not you like somebody actually changes how much you agree with them or how much you can comply to a request. So if you guys like me, and I was like, hey, can you give me a high five? Well, yeah, that might be okay. But if you didn't like me, well, maybe you might not, right? Social proof, if you see me high-fiving a bunch of other people and then I come to you, well, maybe you might high-five me because everybody else is doing it, right? Scarcity, familiarity, consistency, commitment, all of these are different levers that can be utilized to kind of get us to do a thing, right? Whether that's malicious or benign, either way, right? And so all of these are actually coming from Robert Cialdini's book of Influence and Psychology of Persuasion. He's also a PhD. He basically approached the science of compliance, right? Or rather the art of compliance, right? So this guy went undercover into a bunch of salespeople meetings and talked to salespeople and was like, hey, what is it that you guys are doing to get people to buy your stuff, right? How do you don't know these people. How do you get them to make a decision to trust you? So that's where he's basing a lot of his research. He originally published this book from the 80s or something like that, and he's just built on it, and it's just very well known, right? So let's just keep going. So I want to talk really quick about one of these buttons, right? So these are some of the buttons that can influence us, and I want to say influence, not manipulate, because in all honesty, we experience these every day, all the time, right? It's just part of communication. Is we're just trying to always influence each other, right? So I want to talk about authority just for a little bit. Have any of us heard of captainitis? No? You can take medicine for it. No, actually. So captainitis. United Airlines flight 173 173? Yeah, 173. This is in 1978. They had this flight. They're flying home. And as they're about to land, right, captain goes to lower the landing gear. And he hears, thunk. There was a problem with the landing gear. There's an issue. And so they started becoming fixated. Well, we need to troubleshoot this. We need to figure this out. He aborts the landing, and they keep flying, trying to figure this out. The engineer tries to tell the captain, hey, we're starting to run low on fuel. But the captain says, no, 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 we need to figure this out. And does not accurately receive how low of fuel that they had, right? So the engineer was trying to convey, hey, we're actually really low on fuel, and didn't really convey how big of an issue that was, right? So the captain decides to keep flying to try and figure out their landing gear. They actually end up running out of fuel and unfortunately ended up in a crash, and people ended up losing their lives over this, right? What does this have to do? Authority, an authority figure tends to get us to comply with them, right? So if authority figure says, no, I'm going to work on this landing gear, right? It was harder for the flight staff to push back against that. Instead, they complied. They said, okay, we're going to work on your landing gear problem. Instead of pushing back and saying, no, we have a real issue. We're about to run out of fuel, right? So it's not only that, oh, you know, sometimes a person can dress up in a suit and maybe you believe them a little bit, right? There can be lives on the line and people will still comply, right? These are very strong levers that if you don't know, if you're not aware that you're actually being pushed and pulled with these, you could be put in a situation that maybe you don't want to be put in, right? So these, I'm trying to highlight, these are very strong, right? And what's difficult about it is you don't always know that you're under the influence of one of these buttons. It can be very hard to step back and say, oh yeah, actually, I'm under this influence of liking this person. It's very, very difficult. Actually, in some of the studies that Cialdini had, most participants didn't say they were under any sort of influences. They didn't know that they liked one particular argument over another because they liked the person more than anything. But I won't dig into that too much. So I want to talk a little bit, right? So if we know these are some of the different buttons, let's try to piece that and parse it and talk and reframe, right, how we spot fishes, right? Because whether it's social engineering or if it's just influence, like from social media, right, a lot of the levers end up being the same. So whether it's a person trying to sell me something on TikTok or an actual bad guy, those same mechanisms are underneath. And they are the ones that are kind of moving me around. So let's talk about this. Okay, so I have a message from the CEO. And can you guys read this? I hope you can. I can zoom in if I need to. I have an email from a CEO, and it's from their Gmail address. And it says, in a meeting, please buy, it doesn't even say please, buy $500 in gift cards, send the codes, keep it quiet. Okay, well, do we all agree that this is a fish, or does anybody believe this is real? Because if you do believe it's real, I want us to stop there, and I want us to talk about that. Okay, all right. So if we know these 6 levers, we have authority, liking, social proof, scarcity, familiarity, and consistency, commitment. If those are the 6 buttons, which buttons are currently being used by that first fish? Go ahead and shout them out to me. Which, what sort of levers might be in action here? So for that CEO, what kind of buttons might he be pushing here? Authority, brilliant. Thank you very much. Chris, right? Thank you, Chris. Yes, excellent. If I have this authority figure, hey, do this for me, that can immediately go and put me into my fast brain. I got to do this right now, right? I'm not even going to think about it, right? Do I have anything else? I was going to say, it could be familiarity, right? It could be liking, right? It could be consistency, commitment, right? So consistency, commitment being, maybe I've helped the CEO before, maybe I like him, right? people, when they have a routine, or maybe not a routine, but if they have set up some sort of pattern of helping one another, they have a tendency to want to keep that commitment. So if I help Elliot one time, right? Maybe you ask me to go and move a bed. Okay, well, next time it's like, hey, Ken, actually, can you help me move my entire house? Well, I've already committed to you once. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to say yes this next time because I've already gotten into that pattern. And it's important to me as a human to stay committed or be consistent, right? Because one of the things that we talk about for people that we don't like, oh, that guy's a flake. Oh, that lady flakes out. That's bad, right? We don't like that. It's a negative thing. It's a negative attribute. So humans go to great distances to try to avoid that kind of thing, right? So, okay, so we have, for that first one, we have authority. It could be scarcity or some level of urgency, right? Because, hey, there's an opportunity to help right now, and I don't want to let that go because you know what? That can make me look good. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so now I have Microsoft security alert. Your account is compromised. Call this number now. What do we think?
The easiest one in the book.
Tell me.
How so? We mean like based on the
It's based on the 6 buttons, right? Which ones do you think are going into this? Familiarity. Oh, that's Microsoft. You're used to it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, it's another Microsoft update. I got to do this now. It could be authority again, right? Because this is Microsoft and they're doing some computer thing. I don't know about computers, but whatever. Okay, so authority. It could be some fear. You know. Okay. Coworker shared a document with you from a lookalike domain. What are the 6? Which ones might this one be? Liking. If I like the person, you know, like I was saying with Elliot, if I already said yes one time, I'm likely to say it again. Authority, yeah, so maybe this is my boss, my supervisor, or something like that. Absolutely. Anything else? Joe, any thoughts?
I got something similar to that, but I went pretty far, and then it was a .exe file. And I went, wait, no. And I said, no, wait, no, that's not right. Like, why would they send me a .exe file? Like,
yeah.
no, but I got far. Like I even sent that person a message. Hey, what's up with this email? Like, anything I should know? Like, or I click on it.
Uh-huh.
I was like,
And the other person's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I wouldn't send that. Like, no, I haven't sent you anything. And I went, okay, no, that's very weird.
That's brilliant. No, that's exactly that thing, right?
But that's scared me. Wait, no.
And you know, if you had kept in that fast brain, you're just like, oh, I gotta help. And then done. You know, you're done skis.
Forced to download like the actual file, but I didn't click on the actual command. I stopped there and I went, no, no.
That's weird. Yeah.
Maybe it's not my phone, it's my computer. And I went, no, again. No, it can't be 3 times. That's stupid. So I just did it all over.
What were you gonna say, Joe?
Past years, I've always added all these scams, right? Several mile away. 2 weeks ago, getting a call, I'm driving, I'm in San Antonio, and answer it. Joe, we're looking for Joyce Bella. Clean, professional voice.
Ooh.
This is a Yahoo support. We're getting a suspicious chat that's asking us to change your account details, your phone number, and we're just calling right now just to make sure it's still you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I do pay the $9. I pay for whatever, no ads or whatever. So and we're calling, I guess for my VIP or whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's not me. And then like, he's like, I don't know who it is. He's like, oh, okay, let me start. So I'm driving, and then he goes, okay, we're gonna send an email. So it pops up, and I saw how they get screwed. I saw that I wouldn't have read it. I already knew to read it. I looked for the small print at the bottom.
Yeah.
I popped up the code and small letter at the bottom. We would not request. And I looked for it on purpose, but I was kind of still like thinking, man, this guy's slick. Like three minutes of a phone call. Like, man, they got rid of the Indian accent.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and then it's like people on the phone. I could tell he's dating me. I go, hey, can you send me a screenshot to my email of this chat?
Yeah.
And like he starts like, like he could tell I was getting on him. then he comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were about to get into my,
Yeah.
the new one. I never saw that one because it was like a clean, professional English. Like I could have sworn it was like, sounded like you almost.
Yeah.
But
Fluency.
yeah, so I don't know if it's still them from Pakistan and they're just now using AI,
Mhm.
or if someone was really trying to target me for getting my email there, or target.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And it highlights, right, the authority aspect of it, right? So you didn't even have to see a person. What did you hear? You heard clean voice, fluency, right? There is no stuttering. And all of that matches your heuristics that you use to trust people. Because what do you look for when you're looking for a fish? Pakistani accent, or, you know, broken English, or improper, you know, whatever it is. But you had a pattern, the attacker matched your pattern, and so you kept complying. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking to you. Instead of, oh, no, click, done.
Yeah, I was talking longer than usual because I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
Initiating a chat or then he goes, part of our process is before we make changes, we call the phone number. And then he was like, oh, it's not you? Okay, let's go ahead and talk this guy out. We're gonna send you a link. I need you to give me that so we can lock him out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the link is not, he goes, the link was not really a link. It was just a 6-digit code. And he goes, I sent you an email. Can you read me the code?
Oh.
And I was like, man, these guys are getting more people. I can see that's getting more people than ever. That's because I wasn't gonna give it, but I could tell if we're getting people on this urgency, I was driving. I almost didn't read the little fine print.
So I'm reminded, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, called and then I think, no, not today. It was like, oh, I'll find it.
You get an eye, like,
Yeah, because it's always been Indian or
Yeah,
accent.
Yeah. So I'm reminded of a story about a salesman tactic, car salesman, right? So car salesman comes, you're on the floor and you're looking for something, and so the car salesman is like, okay, yeah, well, let me go talk to my boss, and I'm gonna try to get you a deal. Oh, this price doesn't work for you? You know what? I think I can do something better for you. I'm gonna go talk to my boss. They go behind closed doors. You wait a while, you wait 10, 15 minutes. And you come back, they're like frazzled. They got their ties all messed up. And they're like, hey, he let me have it. He didn't like it, but I got you a deal. I got you 15% off, right? I wanted to help you out. I like you, so I'm gonna, do this solid for you. That works. Why? Because it shows he's on your team. It's us versus them, them being the boss, right? It's us versus them. And not only that, you have this opportunity to buy something that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to, right? All of those are signals. All of those are buttons, heuristics, because, well, I might not get this opportunity again. Well, this guy is doing me a solid. I like him, so I should trust him. And, oh, it's us versus them. The boss doesn't want me to get this super cool deal, so I'm going to work against that, right? All of those are these little buttons that you don't even think about, but they happen. And before you know it, I'm listening, right? I'm sitting down. I'm listening to the deal. And maybe I'm thinking I'll take it. In actuality, the salesman went into his boss's office, sat down, said, hi, Frank, and waited. Didn't even talk to his boss, 15 minutes. Messed up his hair, messed up his tie, came back out. Oh, right? It's a ploy. It's a trick, right? It's a button. It's a way to influence you. Okay, finally. Yes, familiarity, liking. Yeah, great job, Chris. That was good. So what's really, really interesting is that we actually experience this all the time. Like I said with the salesperson, that is not a person being malicious, right? It's benign. They're not trying to scam you, but it is a person trying to maneuver you into into making a decision. What's really interesting is a lot of the techniques that are shown in the benign world are also kind of the same TTPs, which are techniques, tactic procedures that the bad guys use, right? So if we can get really good at spotting the techniques in the benign world, I believe that those techniques, those skills can translate when it actually comes to a bad guy. And that's my ultimate goal, is to try to train that up in the world that we know, because we're always getting some level of influence, right? If it's not some marketing person or an advertisement, it's something else, right? So there's always some degree of influence. So I believe we can get good, we can become stronger at recognizing those things. Those skills can then be reapplied to when we actually have some sort of scammer. So how many of us use like TikTok or like Instagram or some sort of, oh, I'm sorry, okay, my bad. Me personally, Kenneth Castillo, I'm on YouTube a lot. That's me, I'm sorry, right? So I watch a lot of YouTube shorts, maybe more than I should. And I'm always seeing these videos about doctor faces against 10, I'm making it up, like 10,000, I don't know, anti-alien people. I don't know, you know, like anti-extraterrestrial believers or something like this. And that's actually heuristic, right? Because a heuristic that we have is to trust an authority figure. So if we have a doctor talking about a thing, hello, my name is so-and-so, I'm a doctor of this and this, and I'm going to talk to you about whatever. Well, I am going to start to trust you a little bit more, right? Boom, shortcut. Hey, we have this deal, we're doing this thing, it's going to end tonight, like and subscribe and do that. That's another heuristic. Everybody's buying it, there's all this social proof. There's comments. My wife, she loves to look at the comments of videos, right? What are people saying about this? So she'll look into the comments of a specific video to kind of like validate, right? And it's like, oh, well, all these people loved what they had to say. Everybody was agreeing. It's all a good idea. That's a shortcut, because you yourself are not validating the claims that the video is doing or the video is actually saying, right? I'm Joe Smith, and I believe in putting calcium carbonate in your hair, right? You're not validating that. You're trusting that other people are going to do the validating for you, and you're trusting that those people aren't going to try to, you know, lie to you, right? And so because there's 1,000 people agreeing, I'm going to trust this video, right?
I noticed a lot of sponsored ads, and if you look at the comments, it kind of looks like they're just, you click those people, you can tell it's like a profile that's real, like, fake.
It's a thing. It's a thing, right? Dead internet theory. Liking. If a person is likable, that makes you more susceptible to trusting them. I say susceptible, right? But you're just going to trust them more. So if a person that you like goes on to say a particular thing, hey, calcium carbonate is good for your hair, I'm sorry. You're going to end up trusting them. I remember a story. This is back from the 80s. There's a lady, there was some primaries going on in California. And this lady went on the record. She was like, I don't know which party to vote for, because this party has this celebrity and this party has that celebrity. Who am I supposed to trust? And it's like, what? You're not listening to the arguments of the participants. You're just looking at the celebrities, right? So it's a big deal. It matters. All of those same things that I just talked about on social media that we are used to on social media, they correlate, right? They all happen with attackers, right? So the business email compromise that we're talking about, authority, it's the same thing. Your account is suspended in the next 24 hours unless you click this button right now. That's urgency. There could be spear phishing report, right? So again, if there's business email compromise, so I am a regular person, or I'm in your company, I'm used to emailing you, but then I get compromised. Well, you're already used to me, you're already used to interacting with me, so it's going to be easier for you to click a button that doesn't make any sense just because you're used to me, right? So all of these, it's astonishing how much they map over. So again, here's another fish, right? I want us to talk about this. This is really, really cool. So Geek Squad, do any of us have a Geek Squad subscription? I've worked with clients that do. No, I don't. Okay, all right, that's fine. Not to scare you or anything like that. But this is a fake email from Geek Squad. And again, we have all of those same TTPs that we were talking about from social media, right? If there's an authority figure, or if it's a person that I like, or if, you know, there's some level of urgency, all of that still pertains. So Geek Squad, how many of us know Geek Squad? All of, I would think all of us, right? So we're all really, really familiar with it. So if we see an email from it, we're not going to be like, oh, who is this, right? We might be confused as to why it's there, but we know who it is. A charge that you never made, so there's $900, so now there's urgency, right? Because there's some level of fear. There isn't a link to click. So if you are basing your heuristics of phishing on whether or not there's a suspicious link, this does not trigger that. So if you're looking for phishing emails, you're in your inbox, and you're looking for suspicious buttons to click on, there isn't one in here. There isn't, because that's not the trap. The trap is in the phone number. That phone number is fake. It goes to some person that has really, really good English and has really strong fluency skills. And their name is Kyle. I don't know. A lookalike sender, right? So maybe it's sent from a domain that looks familiar to you, and maybe these people are like, hey, we want to help you out. Hey, we understand that this $900 could really put you under, so I want to be a pal and I want to help you out here. Let's see what we can do, right? So now there's some level of liking in there too, right? So all of those same things are still being applied. So I want us to talk a little bit again on social media, because I just think it's so interesting, the parallels between an attacker and just social media, because it's all the same stuff. It's all the same buttons. It's all the same ways. And once you get really, really good at asking yourself those questions, you kind of notice that it's easier to ask those questions. And now those questions become the shortcut. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's a lot easier than, you know, let me get my notepad out and write down what Kenneth said in this presentation forever ago. Okay, so let's talk about this. I don't know if this will work. This is kind of the thing that I was afraid of. Oh, it's because the video is
down. Most people try expensive shampoos, de-shedding treatments, fancy brushes, and none of it works long term because you cannot fix a structural problem from the outside.
So this is the
here
video
is what is actually happening.
about an older gentleman.
Hair follicles are surrounded by collagen, and starting at age 6, all dogs lose it fast.
And you
the
can
follicles
see in the
weaken,
left-hand
the
corner
hair
that
falls
it does
out faster
contain
than it grows
AI-generated
back.
media. So we do need
The
to be
coat
careful.
that used to be thick and full starts to change. And when collagen drops, it does not stop at the coat.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right here. Well, I'm gonna ask for your participation, so I'm so sorry. What do you guys think about this video right now? Tell me about it. All of it? Everything?
Yeah, background everything.
Background everything? Okay. All right, cool. So we're pretty much all on the same page. This is AI generated. And we're pretty much all on the same page that maybe none of this is real. All right, cool. So now that we understand that, let's break it apart. Let's piece it apart. What are the different levers? What are the different buttons, right, that are being used to get me, that might, you know, I don't know, get my mom to trust this person or to believe whatever it is that he's saying, okay? So remember, the different levers that we have are authority, scarcity, liking, familiarity. There's two other ones that I don't remember off the top of my head, right?
The old man is for authority. It's the older person's going to know more, so that's for hinting at the authority lever. And then the dog is more towards the liking.
Yeah.
And familiarity. Everybody likes dogs, and everyone knows about dogs.
Yeah. So I think you did wonderful, Chris. Yeah. It's really kind of hard to see, but in the background is actually a bunch of pictures of dogs as well, right? So subliminally, you're watching this and you're like, older gentleman who seems to really know about dogs, is taking care of a well-maintained, well-groomed dog. This gentleman is well-dressed, right? Everything looks clean. Everything looks warm. The environment looks cozy, right? So me as a person, I'm like, I like this. I like this vibe. I like how it makes me feel. Maybe I like the way he sounds. Maybe it matches what I think wisdom sounds like, right? Because we have a certain pattern that we use for like what sounds wise, what sounds smart, right? So, and then I can go and I can look, maybe there's a bunch of comments, maybe there's a bunch of likes on this particular video, and oh, other people are interacting with this, so maybe I can trust this more. The list goes on, right? So if I don't already know this is AI, I might fall for this. Or if I'm not very familiar with, you know, AI techniques, maybe I believe it's just the background or just the dog that's AI or something like that, right? But whatever it is, all of those levers are at play. And he's not even, we haven't even dug into what the guy is talking about, right? So he's talking about helping his dog's hair. Who is he? Who's this guy?
So it reminds you of your grandpa, so you're like, oh, he's nice.
Is he, you know, so who is he? What does he get out of this? What's his authority? Is he, is he a veterinarian, or does he work with dogs, or, you know, what the things that he's saying, is that backed up anywhere else? Does anybody else say that, you know, collagen and whatever about dogs is a good idea or anything like that? You don't think about any of that, but you are paying attention to how much you like him. You are paying attention to how cute that dog is. And so now you're listening to this guy talk about whatever he's talking about because you're watching the video for his cute dog. That's how this kind of information can get you to comply, can get you to listen, can get you to maybe, I don't know, click like, click subscribe because you want to see it more. And if you've already clicked like, well, maybe you'll buy one of his products. Oh, maybe he has a whole store. Oh, maybe he has some group that he messages and you want to get in on that, right? So you can see kind of the cascade of like how it initially starts of like, I just like this thing. And now it can kind of like escalate into this whole other bag. Remember, this is fake, right? This is not a real person in the least. This was generated by somebody who wants something. Somebody made this because they wanted something and you have some way of giving them. Okay. So that's very interesting to me. We're gonna try this other one. This is very funny to me. I hope you guys like this. Oh, it's muted.
Take him to the vet.
My little Kira is 12 already, dear, and only once.
But he looks like Puppy. How is that possible?
It's simple, really. Let me tell you what they will never tell you at the vet.
For many vets, a sick dog is an asset, and a healthy one is a lost customer.
All right, I'm going to pause it there. I love this video because the first 5 seconds are of this well-dressed, mild-mannered gentleman talking with a pretty obvious American accent. And then after about 5 seconds, it cuts, and now he's talking in what appears to be a Japanese accent. That, to me, is brilliant. I love it. Wonderful. Great job. Okay, so all the same stuff, right? I like how he looks. I like the dog. The scene outside looks very nice. And, you know, it's all of these different aspects, right? All the same things that we've already talked about. Doge, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like something that I'm already familiar with, right? Right? Yeah, okay, so.
I think it's amateur
He's got global news, just generic black and white global news media that he's talking to. So even that to a degree is like authority, right? Oh, the news is interviewing this guy. Oh, that means something. That must matter, right? All of these signals are used for a reason. And it's because this guy is actually selling products. This I don't know if it's a guy. This channel is selling products, right? And so in some of their videos, they actually talk about, hey, I love this product. It's so good for my dog. Here's where you can buy it. At the end of the day, who is this guy? What does he want? Is he an authority? Does anything he's saying actually correspond with his background or where he's from or what he's doing, right? All those are the questions that we need to ask, but we're just so used to consuming media, to just watching the next video, that we don't ask those types of questions. And pretty soon we start just kind of subliminally getting all this information. Can I tell you something scary? The more familiar you are with the thing, the more likely you are to believe it. The more familiar you are with the thing, the more likely it is that you will believe it. That is very, 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 very scary. And I'm going to do a quick example. This is completely off script. I shouldn't be even talking about this, but that's fine because I love this thought experiment. Which is more likely, I'm actually asking you, which is more likely that you think that we faked the moon landing, that we never made it to the moon, or that the moon is made of cheese? One or the other. Which would you more likely believe in, right? Okay.
How can you get access to radio and media, especially that have people? That's impossible.
Yeah.
It's instant.
Yeah. So, this is a very self-contained, this is a bad example, right? But I'm trying to highlight to you, you guys are already pretty familiar with like the moon landing was faked conspiracy theory, whether or not you believe in on it, right? You're familiar with it. It's that much easier for you to believe it now than if I gave you something that you've never heard of before. So if I can reiterate a thing to you over and over and over again, whether or not it's true or false, doesn't matter. If you hear it enough, at some point, you become that much closer to believing it. And that's true for social media. That's true for scammers, right? Either or. And so if you leave these videos on replay and you let an algorithm dictate what you watch, and you start getting these same videos over and over and over again, whether or not you think you believe it, oh, this thing again, I can't believe this. That's how echo chambers get developed, right? And now maybe you actually start to believe some of this, right? Again, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Okay, so I'll try to finish up really, really quickly. So what are the different IOCs? What are the different red flags that, hey, maybe I need to think a little bit more about what's being presented? Because again, I'm not saying that social media is malicious, right? Those are people doing people things, right? What I'm saying is a lot of the same things that are happening over there in that sphere are kind of the same techniques that we can use with scammers. So when we are watching a video, we have some video that we're watching of a very nice older gentleman with a Shiba Inu dog. Is there some level of urgency? Is there some sort of strong emotion? Maybe I like him too much, or maybe I'm afraid all of a sudden. Because liking too much is a thing. You can like a person really, really fast, and that should actually be a red flag as well. Is the thing too good or is it too scary? Is there some level of borrowed authority? Remember the older gentleman, right? And he had the world news thing. So he had no credentials. He didn't say anything like, oh, yes, I am a doctor. But he had something that made it seem that there was some level of authority. And so you can actually borrow that kind of authority to make it seem like you're tag teaming a thing. Is there some level of social proof? Are you seeing a bunch of comments kind of spiraling out about this thing? And this one is specifically for more malicious things, but is there anything that's kind of telling you to like be secretive about it, right? Don't tell anybody. This is just between you and me. Hey, this particular opportunity is just between you and me, so let's not share it with anybody else, right? All of these should be red flags, right? All of these should be something for you to say, hold on, let me think about what's actually going on here, instead of clicking or engaging or calling or whatever it is. So all of those same questions, who is this person? Who are you? What is your authority? What do you have a doctorate in this thing? What is the thing that you're saying? Is there any sort of science behind what you're saying? Because believe it or not, it's very cheap to just say whatever you want on social media. I don't have to do any research to say a thing on social media. But for me to be truthful and correct and accurate takes a lot of effort. It takes me a lot of effort, right? It took me reading books and reading articles to create this presentation for you guys, right? So for me to be truthful and accurate takes a lot of energy. But I can say anything I want at any time, and it costs me no energy on social media if it's wrong. So it's on us Is there evidence for what's actually being said to me? Because that person, it takes no effort for that person to make up a thing. Am I being rushed? Is there something that's getting me to click? Oh, I have to engage right now. Oh, there's only a day, a week, a month to interact with the thing. Can there be some other explanation? So that Shiba Inu dog, very calm. It makes us think that, oh, maybe this owner is like very good at what he does. Is there another explanation for why that dog is so very calm? Yes, it's AI generated. It's not even a real dog. Is there some level of liking or fear that could be clouding it? I asked my wife this a lot when she's like, oh, I heard about this thing, or I saw this thing on video, on Instagram. It's like, oh, cool. Is it from a person that you like? It's like, well, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, are you listening to them because you like them, or are you listening to them because that thing that they said is accurate and correct? It's like, all right. She actually doesn't like when I ask those questions. I ask those questions a lot, but I think it's good. And then finally, did you verify those independently? Yeah. So we unfortunately bear the burden of needing to do the work, right? Because we are being slammed by these decisions all the time. We have people trying to engage with us. We live in an age of the internet where our engagement, our attention matters. So if we can spend time liking, clicking, subscribing, it helps people. Well, unfortunately, all of those same patterns can be used maliciously against us, right? So the better we are at slowing down and picking apart when we need to, because again, I understand, I get it. We can't use our slow brain and think through every single video all the single time, like every single time. We don't have that much time in a day, right? The trick is, can I turn it on, click into slow brain when I actually need to, so that I can actually understand, okay, I believe this source is actually valid, and I'm going to let this information, actually influence whatever it is. And then, yeah, so these again are just the different questions that we can ask ourselves. Who is this person? What is their evidence? Is there any sort of other evidence that also backs up what they're saying? Is there some level of explanation that could be describing what they're saying besides just what they're telling me? Is there some level of me being fearful or liking them, right? All of these are the main questions that we can ask. So once you start understanding those flags, you basically just like unlock your brain to how you're being advertised, really. And again, those are the same ways that we can kind of help ourselves spot when bad guys are doing the same thing. And my hope is you guys kind of end up becoming more like me, where you're always asking like, hey, who is this person? What is their authority? Are they a doctor? What are their sources? What are their citations? Where are they pulling from? Are they pulling from a research paper? Or are they just saying things? And it annoys the crap out of my wife. But she's also starting to ask herself those questions. And I hope by you guys asking people those questions, they can start asking themselves those questions. And now we can become inoculated, right? We inoculate ourselves against all the influences that we might have on ourselves. And that is my hope. Thank you, guys. My name is Kenneth Castillo. I am with Recon InfoSec, and I appreciate your time.